Chapter 30, Marketing 101. The snail and tortoise will always progress as long as they stick their heads out of the shell. The world today is loaded with all kinds of goods and services that are existing in the marketplace. However, many good products and services have not received good patronage from the market due to poor marketing. The market is the external collection of customers and buyers, which is the ultimate source of the business income, and without which there is no business. Every business that wants to succeed must therefore make sure they have a good marketing strategy in place. Publicity is not marketing, but just a part of it. Advertising is not marketing, but just a part of it. Sales is not marketing, but just a part of it. While publicity and advertising have to do more with making something known to the public or creating awareness about the existence of a product or service in order to encourage purchase or patronage, selling is the act of making a sale, and marketing is a combination of all. Marketing is the act of presenting, advertising, and sales of product or service to the market. Publicity creates awareness, but that does not necessarily translate into sales. Advertising creates awareness, but that does not necessarily translate into sales. People may be aware of the existence of a product or service and still not patronize it because they can't see it available or afford it. So it is necessary to go beyond creating awareness to making actual sales, which is the real reason for being in business. Publicity and advertising cost the company lots of money and are expenses. Sales make money for the company and are an income. Marketing is the combination of everything from publicity and advertising to making sales, and that means until sales is made and revenue is generated, marketing is not complete. A good marketing will not only create awareness of the existence of a product, but will make the product or service affordable, available, and accessible in the marketplace so that people can buy or patronize it and revenues can be generated. Why problem in marketing? 1. Lack of effective advertisement and publicity. You may advertise and publicize, but do it ineffectively. This can happen if you do it using the wrong mediums or reaching the wrong target audience. No matter the ad you do in a boys' hostel about sanitary pad, it is useless and ineffective because you are advertising to the wrong targets. Men don't use sanitary pads. No matter the ad you do in the newspaper about your product, it will be ineffective if the people you want to reach are illiterates who cannot read. Spending loads of money is useless if the ad is done in the wrong platform or focused at the wrong target because it will be ineffective and will not generate sales. Many businesses have been frustrated due to ineffective advertising. 2. Lack of product research to find out the buyer's view before production. Doing a market survey is very vital for any business that wants to succeed. You cannot force me to buy what I don't need or want, no matter the noise you make. Every product or service has a target audience, and they should be involved in the process before you come out with the product. That is one of the reasons for doing a feasibility study to know whether there is a market for your intended product or service, and to find out where the market is, how strong the market is, whether it is a growing market, and what price the market can pay. Many businesses put the cart before the horse by coming out with a product or service before finding out if it will sell. Don't just assume people will buy. Verify first if they need it, because assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. Wrong pricing of the product. Pricing is one very vital aspect of the marketing mix, and no matter what the product or service, if the pricing is wrong, it will not sell. You need to consider a lot of factors to determine the price of your product or service, e.g., the cost of production, other costs associated with the product, e.g., storage, transportation, advert, etc., the industry standard or market forces, the financial level of your target audience, your profit and markup, etc. All these things matter a lot because if you overprice, you may price yourself out of the reach of the market. And if you underprice, you may price yourself out of the market. Balance is very key here. Wrong packaging. Market appeal is all a function of proper packaging, and to have a wrong or poor packaging will go a long way in affecting the way the market will treat the products. No matter how good your product or service, your presentation and packaging matters a lot because it will affect the reception you get. People don't know the quality of your product or service until they buy it and taste it, and poor packaging can hinder that. Benefits, benefits, benefits. The only thing customers think of is benefit, benefit, benefit. They like what will meet their need and be affordable to them, because that is how they determine value. If it is not meeting their need, they don't value it or consider it valuable to them, but exploitative. Businesses exist mainly to satisfy the need of the customers, and this focus should not be lost or else the business fails. In all you do, always have the customers in mind, and let them see that you are not just after their money, but their satisfaction. Marketing mix. The term marketing mix was coined in 1958 by Neil Borden in his American Marketing Association presidential address. However, this was actually a reformulation of an earlier idea by his associate, James Culliton, who in 1948 described the role of the marketing manager as a mixer of ingredients, who sometimes follows the recipe of others, prepare his own recipe as he goes along, adapts recipe from the immediately available ingredients, or invents new ingredients and recipe no one has tried. Marketing mix is a business tool in marketing products. The marketing mix is often synonymous with the 4 P's: product, price, promotion, place. However, in recent times, an extension has been made to make it 7 P's, with the addition of process, physical evidence, people. We will limit ourselves to the 4 P's in this book because this is not meant to be an academic study. The 4 P's. 1. Product. A product is seen as an item that satisfies what a customer needs. It can be tangible or intangible. Tangible. Goods, example, books, foods, etc. Intangible. Service, example, tours, banking. 2. Price. This is the amount a customer pays for a product, and it's very important because it determines the market reception and your company profit. 3. Promotion. This represents all the methods of communication that a marketer may use to provide information to different parties about the product. It comprises of elements such as advertising, public relation, personal selling, and sales promotion. 4. Place. This refers to providing the product at a place which is convenient for consumers to access. Place is synonymous with distribution. These 4 P's view things from the selling perspectives, but becomes 4 C's when viewed from the buyer's perspectives. Customers need and want, equivalent of product. Cost, equivalent of price. Convenience, equivalent of place. Communication, equivalent of promotion. With the 4 P's in mind, we can now give marketing another definition: putting the right product in the right place, at the right price, at the right time. And practically applying it in your business is by knowing the question you need to ask to determine your market mix. Product or service. What does the customer want from the product or service? What needs does it satisfy in the customer? What features does it have to meet these needs? Are there any features you have missed out? Are you including costly features that the customer won't actually use? How and where will the customers use it? Or what does it look like? Or how will the customer experience it? What sizes, colors, and so on should it be? How is it branded? How is it differentiated versus your competition? What is the most it can cost to provide and still be sold profitably? Place. Where do buyers look for your product or service? If they look in a store, what kind? A specialty boutique, or in a supermarket, or both, or online, or direct via a catalog? How can you access the right distribution channels? Do you need to use a sales force, or attend trade fairs, or make online submissions, or send samples to catalog companies? What do your competitors do, and how can you learn from that and/or differentiate? Price. What is the value of the product or service to the buyer? Are there established price points for products or services in this area? Is the customer price sensitive? Will a small decrease in price gain you extra market share? Or will a small increase be indiscernible and so gain you extra profit margin? What discounts should be offered to trade customers or to other specific segment of your market? How will your price be compared with your competitors? Promotion. Where and when can you get across your marketing messages to your target market? Will you reach your audience by advertising in the press, or on television, or radio, or on billboards, by using direct marketing mail shot, through PR, on the internet? When is the best time to promote? Is there seasonality in the market? Are there other environmental issues that suggest or dictate the timing of your market launch, or the timing of subsequent promotion? How do your competitors do their promotion, and how does that influence your choice of promotional activity? These questions will help you greatly because marketing is a serious matter. How to get customers to try your product. 1. Free sample offer. Offer them free samples so they can taste and experience the product. When they get and use a free sample, it creates an emotional and psychological bond that has great propensity to propel purchase. 2. Free demonstration. Like free offer, when customers get a free demonstration and see the potential of a product, it ignites in them the desire to buy. Why do you think car dealers allow you to test drive a car? After you experience it, you want it. 3. Appeal for references from existing customers. Those who have patronized you can be your greatest salespeople if you can get them to refer others to you from their networks and circle of influence. You can even offer them benefits like commission, discounts on future purchase, or free products for every referral. 4. Money-back guarantee. If you are really sure of the quality and value of what you are offering the market, then this will be a good strategy to generate sales because people are more willing to patronize you because of the provision for refund if they are not satisfied. I have used this over and over again, and it works. 5. Progressive discount offer. When customers see benefits, they go for it any day, any time. Offering people progressive discounts will make them buy more or come back often. If buying 6 items instead of 1 or a dozen instead of 6 will give greater discounts and reduce the unit cost, it will attract customers. 6. Instant reward offer. People like rewards and freebies all over the world, and you can use it to draw customers and make sales. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get the second for half price. Buy now and get a free gift, etc. These are some ways you can use to draw customers. 7. Special promo. You can come up with special promos at different seasons to boost sales and get more customers to buy your product. You can attach a raffle draw to the special promo to sustain the momentum and create a wave. How to sell when no one sells. You must offer the customers value they cannot reject. You must not wait for the customers to come, but you go out to meet them. You must refuse to give up on your prospects until they become customers. You must be ready with new ideas and innovations at all times. You must determine never to cut corners, but offer quality value with integrity. Steps to closing a sale. Introduce yourself and your product to the prospect in a way that will attract their attention. Be simple, courteous, and bold. Demonstrate the product convincingly and point out the benefits and attributes to be derived by the customers. Allow for feedback and questions to seal your deal. Make an obvious statement and mention the price being demanded. Appreciate your buyer physically and verbally. The customers of today are your connection to the customers of tomorrow, so stay in touch and seek referrals. Channels of awareness: print media, newspaper, magazines, etc. Electronic media, radio, television, etc. New media, internet, Facebook, etc. Outdoor media, billboards, flares, and handbills, etc. Word of mouth, network marketing, referrals, etc. Word of mouth network marketing. The cheapest and most effective way to market is through word of mouth. All the millions spent on publicity and advertising is all geared towards becoming top in mind and creating a word of mouth effect. When you succeed in creating a momentum that turns people into your sales force of their own accord, it works like magic. Network marketing is like traditional fishing. You go to the river you are familiar with, you let down your net with a good bait, you bring out your net, you design the best way to get the best quicker and constantly. To create a customer base when you start out and don't have all the money to spend on advertising, start with known and familiar territory. Zero in on the people you already know: family members, neighbors, friends, colleagues or schoolmates, old schoolmates or old colleagues, club or association members, church members, fellow passengers on a bus, train, plane, etc., fellow townsmen or ethnicity, those in your catchment area, etc. When this yields result, you can now use the initial customers as bait to get others via referrals, questionnaires, and recommendations, etc. For a successful network marketing, you must be ready to A. Satisfy the customers by knowing their needs, catering to their needs, and not taking them for granted. B. Know that a customer can build you or ruin you. C. Cultivate their friendship. Demand and supply. Life is all about demand and supply, and there are 7 laws to note. 1. Never supply what is not in demand. 2. Start with what the market demands and supply it rather than trying to impose your idea on the market. 3. Research to know where and why of your market and have a USP. Your loyalty should be to your demand side, not supplying. Be sure the demand side is large and growing. Consider the duration of the demand side. Will they repeat buys? Consider the depth of the demand side. Will they buy other products from you? Marketing is very key to business success, as we have now seen, and I hope what I've shared here will be used to change things in your business. I await your success story. 7 pillars of value creation concept. Let me add this as a bonus in this chapter. 1. Before you engage in any endeavor, look at the 3 market leaders in that field. 2. Identify one unique attribute of each. That is, the most powerful thing about them that brings customers. 3. Go back to your closet and research on how to marry these unique attributes of these 3 market leaders into one product or service. The new product or service must, however, have an additional attribute that addresses major problems existing in previous products or services. 4. Come up with the product or service and do a test run. 5. Continue to push the product or service in a consistent manner. 6. Consistently research on adding more variants of the same product or service using the same concept so that you can consolidate on the head start you have. 7. A new value has been created.